I'm Dick Kohanek again from the San Antonio Post. I'll be presenting and I'm the past Post president of the San Antonio Post, and our current Post president, Dave Yang, is also on here. We had hoped to have Clayton Perry, who's another past Post president and also a past Tetsoma RVP with us, but apparently he was not able to get on and connect. He is traveling. The San Antonio Post, we neck and neck with the Baltimore Post of being the second and third largest post in the society. Both of us have over 1,000 members, whereas Washington D.C. is the largest, has 1,700 members. So we're a very large post, and we have a large volunteer staff that we can work with. Today, what we're going to be covering is we actually got started in the veteran support programs all the way back in 2003. But what we're going to cover today is talk about our current programs for you, go over them, talk a little bit about the other programs that we had worked in the past and some of the lessons learned. First program we're going to talk about is Operation Flow to Soldier. This is quite an exciting program. Operation Flow to Soldier is another nonprofit service organization that provides a variety of services to wounded warriors and their families. And during the summer months, they sponsor a summer adventure day for wounded warriors and their families at a local lake here called Canyon Lake. We've been supporting Operation Flow to Soldier since 2011. Actually, we got started in this program because Clayton Perry, who I mentioned before, actually volunteered his boat for this particular one of the summer days with the wounded warriors, and he took out some of the wounded warriors and families on boat rides around Canyon Lake. Since that time, we've really evolved. Now we are sort of a major supporter of Operation Flow to Soldier. We provide donations of about $1,000 per year, which goes to equipment and food for the day at the lake, and also about 20 volunteers. Since we started, we've now approaching 80 volunteers that we've supported this event with. If you take a look, this is what Operation visually Flow to Soldier looks like. It's really a big day. It starts off in the morning where we greet the wounded warriors and their families, get them set up. We have waterfront activities for them. We also set up a picnic lunch. Our volunteers work in 2 shifts. They come in, the morning shift comes in, helps set up everything at the beach area and the buffet. Then the afternoon shift comes in when the meal starts. So the both shifts are serving the meals and assisting the families. And then the afternoon shift goes down and works with the wounded warriors and families at the beach. And also tears down all the equipment and packs it away for the next day. This happens every other week during the summer at Canyon Lake. We were supposed to participate this year. Unfortunately, everybody, if you heard about the heavy rains we had in June and July here in the Texas area, Canyon Lake was closed, and actually they only got started with Operation Flow to Soldier last weekend. And they're going to close it off after just one more event. So we won't actually be able to participate as volunteers in this event this year. But we're looking at they're going to start another event too that we'll be participating with the Operation Flow to Soldier folks. The second one we'll talk about is the support of the Can't Beat the Meat team at the Rodeo Barbecue Cookoff. This team is also a nonprofit volunteer group that supports wounded warriors, veterans, and their families. And they have this program, and they also have a program they call Cash for Kids, which supports the kids of the wounded warriors and veterans. What they do is they not only compete in the San Antonio annual Rodeo barbecue cook-off, but they have a pavilion at this cook-off that they host the wounded warriors, veterans, and their families at during the day for a day of fun, food, and entertainment. It starts about 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Our volunteers come in. They help set up the food service area. Then we serve the food. We assist the wounded warriors and their families and veterans and active duty folks that come and whatever they need. And then we help tear down the food service pavilion and just enjoy the entertainment with the families and the wounded warriors there. We provide, again, about 20 volunteers to this event each year. Last year, we did something different. We even included one of our student chapter folks in this event so they could participate in the Wounded Warrior event, and that was quite successful. We contribute about $2,500 to $3,000 a year to this event, and that helps cover the food and all the setup. Everything is absolutely free for the Wounded Warriors, veterans, and things, and the scope of this event is quite large. There's over 600 pounds of barbecue, ribs, chicken, and meats, and all the fixings and all the beverages throughout the whole evening. Take a look. Next slide shows you some of the pictures here. On the upper left corner there, the picture is our folks serving on the barbecue line. The picture on the right are our 4 student leaders from the University of Texas student chapter that we have that came down and helped us out. And the rest of the pictures are folks just enjoying the meal. It's a great event. There's dancing, there's music. It goes all through the evening. The folks really enjoy it. With that, I'm going to pass the ball to Dave Yang so he can talk about our adventures at the Warrior Family Support Center.
Good morning. The Warrior Family Support Center Bingo Night is a brand new event that we just started participating this year. The Family Support Center on JVSA Fort Sam Houston is the focal point for Wounded Warrior, veteran and family support activities in San Antonio. This function actually started back in 2003 in a very small break room in one of the building facilities in the medical center on Fort Sam. And over the years, it has drawn a lot of support, and it is now in a 12,000 square foot new facility built from private donations on 10 acres of properties in the medical center. And it offers a wide variety of services and activities for the veteran to include a Thursday bingo night. So this year, we decided that to support that event. And the event starts at 6 p.m. Veterans and their families are offered a buffet meal before the bingo with prizes for them to begin. And typically companies and local organizations from all over San Antonio would provide meals and volunteer to serve it. So this year, we were fortunate to get on the schedule to help support this event, and over 150 veterans and family members attended the event this year. So here's just a snapshot of some of the activities that took place. As you can see from the upper 2 photos, those are actually post members that help with setting up and serving the meals. And we actually, the post actually purchased the meal to be served to the participants. And at the bottom, you can see some of the veterans and their families, participating and enjoying the event. And you can kind of see in the background, the Family Support Center itself is actually a magnificent facility serving a great purpose to this great community. So we are very fortunate to be part of this this event. And the next item is our landscaping support event at the center. This activity actually directly helped the center itself, which, as you heard, does a tremendous amount of services to the veterans and the wounded warrior community. The center, as you heard, sits on a 10-acre landscape property, and they have very small permanent groundskeeping staff. And actually, the number is 2. And so it's very difficult for them to keep up with all the tasks and upkeep around this 10-acre site. So organization, as I mentioned before, throughout the greater San Antonio area, volunteer to spend about 4 hours on Saturday to assist the staff with a lot of these upkeeping tasks. And starting in 2014, we the Post actually teamed with one of our public agency partners here in the area to provide this volunteer service. Again, this is another very popular activity for our Post members, and we are now in our second year in supporting this event. Actually, it was last weekend, and there were close to 30 members between the Post and the public agency, and we did a lot of landscaping, assembling of equipment, cleaning up the site. So despite the heat and the humidity, it was well received, and I think the folks were very gracious and very much enjoyed the activities. Okay, so the next photo is a quick snapshot of around the site, and then some of the activities of cleaning up the landscaping and doing some painting around the site just to keep it in great condition to support the center and all the participants. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Dick for him to talk about our other events. So back to you, Dick.
Yeah, Dave, pass me the ball. Okay. All right, got it. All right, this next event is the American Legion Job Fair. One of the things, the Society's focus area on assisting military and veterans with job transition is probably one of the most difficult things that we've been able to make headway in here in San Antonio. And that's just because there are just so many job fairs and so many organizations working military transition here in San Antonio, because we're sort of known as the Military City USA. It's just too much competition and too much better expertise than we have. Just to give you an example, between the months of March and August, one organization that focused on veterans had 26 job fairs and job transition workshops. So, and that's just one. And then every major company and business here in San Antonio does the same thing. And we have Toyota, H-E-B Grocery, University Health System. It's just a tremendous competition in this area to make some success. What we tried to do in 2013 is tie a veterans job fair and transition workshop in with our small business event for that year. And we had great response from the sustaining members of our Post and all the companies that attended the small business. But we really had a very small turnout, and we really had minimal success in this area. The following year, what we did is we spent about 6 to 7 months on research on job fairs and military transition operations. As a matter of fact, Dave Yang, myself, Deanna Jensen, who's our small business coordinator, and several other Post leaders sat down for breakfast meetings with organizers of these kinds of events. And we did a lot of research, and we felt like we needed to do something different if we were going to make any progress. Now, we sort of turned the corner this year in 2015 because we hooked up and linked up with the American Legion organization in Castroville, Texas, which is just outside of San Antonio. And it just so happened they were having a regional event at the time, and they were having a job fair and wanted to support. So we were able to provide volunteers and a sponsorship to help that job fair get going. And the real key to that, the real key to us turning the corner here was the fact that one of our post members is a senior leader in the American Legion. So that helped us turn the corner and getting really involved in an active job fair. If you take a look, the next thing, here's some photos. We had folks that to give briefings on Texas veterans programs, Texas veteran programs. And what was kind of neat, we even had a speaker there to talk about special programs for women, Texas women veterans program. We had a lot of networking sessions, guest speakers. We had about 12 exhibitors, 12 companies exhibitors, and the most exciting thing about this is they were really interested in hiring former military, but they were also interested in hiring the spouses of former military people leaving the service. So that was another great opportunity. I think the proof of the pudding of our success with this, even though it took us so long to have a successful one, was one of the ladies that was a participant came up to me later on and said that she had been to 7 job fairs in the last 2 weeks, and she felt that this was the most profitable one of all. So we consider that to be a real success. We also have a donation program within the Post. What we do is from our major events, like our small business event, in lieu of speaker gifts and other donations we get from, for example, this year we had casino raffles and so forth. In our golf tournament, we have special games like how far can you hit a marshmallow with a golf club. And then the holiday celebration event, we asked attendees to bring gift cards to local grocery stores and other stores to give out. And we've been very successful in giving out the results of these donations from these major events to certain things, to Warrior Family Support Center, to Operation Homefront. And this year we're getting started with a new organization called Adopt a Platoon. So that's been a very successful program. Like I mentioned, that we really got started in this all the way back to 2003. And as some of the other folks mentioned, we got started in the area of baseball and basketball tickets to our active military veterans, wounded warriors and families, Spurs tickets, San Antonio Missions tickets, so forth. We also participated in sponsorships of the San Antonio Celebrate America's Military event. We did Toys for Tots. We also worked with the Wounded Warrior Project folks when they did a soldier's ride in San Antonio by sponsoring a dinner. But we have evolved away from these kind of events because they started off as successes, but eventually we were unclear where the donations were going and if they were really paying off. And one of the biggest things was, for as far as tickets goes, everybody, all of the local companies, big companies, also giving tickets to all these things. So the Warrior Family Support Center just has too many tickets and for too many events for the people signing up for them. So it was a struggle to keep these as successful programs. Another thing we ran into was the fact that when we got started in these programs, the people that we were working with, they were very reliable points of contact. We understood what was going on and so forth. Gradually, those people changed over, and their successes were not as reliable, and it became difficult to keep up the coordination. And one of the funniest things is that when we were giving tickets out, we actually had the most success when post members in their active duty positions were in the leadership roles in the organizations we were providing tickets to. But when they changed out, we sort of lost our coordination, our close coordination with those organizations. We weren't so successful. To kind of wrap it up, Dave will also chime in here. We've kind of listed some lessons learned that we've learned from all of our programs. And I think what's important about this slide is the fact that it not only applies to Wounded Warrior veteran support programs, but it applies to STEM programs and K-12 programs you're working, and also to community service programs. We think the most important thing is that you have an interested member in your post that really wants to take the lead in this. And we find this is the real key. You know, Clayton Perry, he does involved in Operation Float a Soldier and Can't Beat the Meat. We also have a lot of other people that came up with programs that they were very much interested and wanted to take the lead for, and then that helped us get started in the areas. As a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, we done another brand new lead from one of our fellows in our organization on the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Foundation, which started in Houston area, is now trying to get a branch or chapter going in San Antonio. They set up a preliminary meeting last week, and we had 3 of our fellows participate in that event, and we're going to see how we can become involved in that. And then Dave can chime in on this, but I think another important thing about these programs is that post-leadership is involved in the program, not just talking about it, but actually out there. And I can tell you from experience that Dave, Clayton, just about every one of our post board members has been to the volunteer on the events that we talked about, some of the other ones that we mentioned. It's important that whatever the organization is in your area, that you research it and and find out what they're really doing, and determine what you can provide to help them. And there's so many organizations. For example, one of the other posts that we're briefing mentioned about the Christmas card, the holiday card that you send out to troops and so forth. Well, the Red Cross has a very similar program called Mail to Heroes. And so you might, if you're just getting started in a program, that's a great program to get involved with. We had a member that was in the Red Cross, and we got involved with that program also. So it takes a little research, it takes a little work. Find out what you're able to do. Is it just going to be, as a post, are you just going to be able to provide volunteers, or are you going to be able to provide some financial support? And then determine, can that veteran support group use the volunteers and use the financial support? What we find out, and as I mentioned, we're a very large post like Baltimore and some of the other large posts in Washington, D.C. So we actually have to limit our volunteers for some of these activities because we can't have 80 volunteers from the San Antonio Post show up. They just can't be utilized in some of these events. And then we encourage you to start really small. And like I said, Operation Float a Soldier was a simple thing. Clayton Perry took his boat out to Cannon Lake and gave the soldiers a ride, and then see where it goes from there. and then you have to constantly reevaluate your programs. Like we did, we've been through a whole lot of programs since 2003, and eventually we're weeding them out and finding the ones that work best. And I think that every one of the posts that are brief today can sort of validate the last bullet on this slide, that when you make a call for volunteers for wounded warrior and veteran support programs, they come. They come fast and furious. You won't have any trouble. I don't think any post will have any trouble getting volunteers to get involved in these programs.